Matrix basic operations. So take a moment to read this first page. Here's the bottom part. All right, let's get started. We're going to perform matrix operations on basic operations or using basic operations. This one here says we're going to take B. We're going to take the matrix C, B, and subtract it from A. So what we need to do is rewrite it that where B is first, -7 to 9, -4, and we're going to subtract it from A. Now I'm going to rewrite it. We got our first column, first row. Oops. Let's look at the ones we rewrote. First column, first row from matrix C, B minus matrix C, 1A. Second, our first row, second column minus first row, second column. Second row, first column minus. Then we have second row, column 2. All right, now let's clean this up. -7 minus 1 is -8. 2 minus 4 is -2. 9 minus 6 is 3. And -4 minus 1 is -5. And that is our answer. Now let's do the next one. It says that we're going to add them, right? And it's in the format we want to add. So we're going to take our 10 and add it to our -5. We're going to take our -3 and add it to 7. 11 plus 2, and then 0 minus 12. Let me rewrite that right quick. Now let's clean this up. And it was a plus. It was 0 plus a -12. We could have wrote it that way too. So I got 10 minus -5 is 5. -3 plus 7 is 4. 11 plus 2 is 13. And then 0 plus a -12 is a -12. And that is our answer. Okay, number 3. Number 3 says we're going to distribute this -10 to everything inside the matrices. So I got -10 times that 4. I got -10 times that 12. I got -10 times that 20. -10 times that 3. I got -10 times -5. -10 times that -7. -10 times that 15. -10 times 8. All right. So negative times negative is, or excuse me, negative times positive is negative, and 4 times 10 is 40. Again, negative times positive is negative. 10 times 12 is 120. And then -10 times 20 is 200, or -200, right? And then -10 times 3 is a -30. -10 times -5 is a +50. -10 times -7 is a +70. -10 times +15 is a -150. -10 times +8 is a -80, and that is our answer. All right, moving on. Next, we're going to perform this operation. So we got a 2 by 2 matrices multiplied to each other, right? We got this 2 by 2, 2 rows, 2 columns times the 2 rows, 2 columns. So what we're going to do is perform this operation. We're going to take row 1 from this first matrices, and we're going to multiply it to the first column. And give me just a second. Let me come over here and write something down for you. So we got row 1, 1. So it's notated as A, I, J, where I is the row, J is the column. So row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 2. Row 2, column 1. Row 2, column 2. And we're going to take that to row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2. So what's going to happen is we're going to take this row 1, times it to the column 1. So now I got A11 times B11 plus A12 times B21. Next, we're going to take that row 1 again, and we're going to multiply it to the last column, column 2. So now we get A11 times B12 plus A12 times B22. Now let's get row 2. And row 2 is going to be multiplied to column 2. Okay. Or column 1, excuse me. So we take row 2 times column 1, then we take it times column 2. All right. I got ahead of myself. That's okay. If you could just remember where it would have went if you're not. If you go ahead and did it in that process, be sure and remember what placement that actual number is going to go back in its matrices. Okay. So I try to stick in order. I just kind of got ahead of myself there. All right. So now let's finish up. Row 2 times that final row, final column. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So this is a good notation if this will help you. So row 1 times column 1. So I got 1 times 11 plus -4 times 12. So now what is that? So 11 to positive 11. Negative and positive gives me a -4 times 12. And gives me -37. Where does that go? Well, it's going to go here. This is why I said it's very important that you're careful about the order that we solve these in, because you don't want to put your number in the wrong place. So row 1 multiplied by column 2. So I got 1 times 10 plus -4 times 2. So 10 minus 8 is going to be 2. There we go. Row 2 times column 1. So I got 3 times 11 plus -5 times 12. So now I got 33 minus 60 gives me -27, -27. Row 2 times column 2. 3 times 10 plus -5 times 2. So now I have 30 minus 10, I have 20. And that is our answer. Okay. This next one, let's solve for it. Okay, so just remember these sizes of these matrices do matter. If you notice that I have a 3 by n. So 3, excuse me, I said that wrong, guys. I have an n by 3 because it's row times column. So I have an n by 3 here going on. I have 3 columns, 1 row. This one here is going to be a 3 by n. It's going to be 3 rows times 1 column. So now I'm going to perform this operation. I'm going to give you some notation over here on the side where our row would be look like this. You know, earlier we said Aij. Well, in this case, we only have Ai, right? We only have that 1 row, ... an. Over here, I have B one. Well, we just only have BJ, right? Because we're talking about the column. Dot, 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 BN. So how we solve for this is going to be A1 times B1 plus A2 times B2, dot, 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 plus AN times BN. Okay, so let's solve for this. So I got A1 times B1, so it's 15 times 2 plus negative 20, 2 times negative 4 plus negative 6 times 11. So what do we got? 15 times 2 is 30. I got a negative 22 times a negative 4 becomes positive 88. And then we have a negative 6 times a positive 11, so it gives me negative 66. So now I have 30 plus 88 minus 66 gives me 52. And that is our answer. Okay, our next one says, all right, we have 3 times BA plus 4 times AC. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to find BA and we're gonna have to find AC. And then when we do that, then we'll say 3 times that and then 4 times that, then we can add them together. So first thing is I noticed B is 1, 2, 1, negative 2, and A is 4, 0, negative 3, 0, 1, 2. So I'm going to have a row times a column, right? So we got to find it. So what we're going to have is row 1 times column 1. So I have 1 times 4 plus 2 times 0. And some of you are going to see the shortcut, and that's all right if you want to do that. I'm going to be consistent with just sticking with this pattern. So I have 1 times negative 3 plus 2 times 0 is negative 3. 1 time row 1, 1, 2 times column 1 or 3, column 3. So I have 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2. So that gives me 5. So now I know I'm working my way. I know part of my new matrices, right? So what do I got? I got, you want to write it right here, or down here underneath may be better. I just didn't want to write it in the way of my second row being multiplied out. So I got 4, negative 3, and 5. Okay, so now let's go back and finish. I'm going to change this color right here. So I'm going to say for row 2, I got 1, negative 2. I'm going to multiply it to column 1. So I have 1 times 4 plus negative 2 times 0. That's 4. Row 2 times column 2. So 1 times the negative 3, add it to 2 times 0, which is negative 3. Row 2 times the final column. So I got 1 times 1 plus negative 2 times 2 gives me a negative 3. All right, so now I know what BA is. So if I was to say 3 times all that, I'm going to say 4 times 3, negative 3 times 3, 5 times 3. I have 4 times 3, negative 3 times 3, negative 3 times 3. And now I got 12, negative 9, 15, 12, negative 9, negative 9. Okay, so far good. I know that one. So now let's solve for the other part. Let's find A times C. So I'm going to scroll down. Some of y'all might need to hurry up and write this down. So pause it and write it down. The what A and C is. I'm going to scroll down to this next page right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my row 1 from A, times it to column 1 of C. So I got 4 times 2 plus -3 times 4 plus 1 times -1 gives me what? 8. 8 plus -12, which is 4, minus 1 is -5. So now I'm going to take row 1 times column 2. So you notice these zeros, we only going to be left with the middle, but I'm going to show it to you just in case you don't see it. Some of you may already see it and you say, oh, I don't have to do all that. I just said -3 times -2, which was a +6. Row 1 times column 3. So I got 4 times 1 plus -3 times -1 plus 1 times -3. So now I have what? I have 4 plus 3, which is 7, because negative times negative is positive, right? And then 7 minus 3 is 4. So now let's grab column 2. And let's multiply it to column, or excuse me, my apologies, row 2, which is 0, 0, 2 from A times it to column 1 of C. So now I have 2, 4, -1. All right, 0 times 2 plus 0 times 4 plus negative, or 2 times -1 is just -2. Row 2 times column 2. My notation got a little messy here. Let me clean that. There we go. Times column 2. So I have 0, -2, 0. And what is our answer here? If you notice, it's going to be 0, but let me write it out for you. Oh, let me clean this up right quick. My handwriting got a little messy right there. So I have 0 times 0, 0 times -2, 2 times 0, 2, 0. Now take row 2 times the third column. So now I'm 0 times 1 plus 0 times -1 plus 2 times -3, which is -6. So now I know what AC is. AC is going to be -5, 6, 4, -2, 0, -6. Now that I know that, I can say, okay, well, what is 4 times all that? Because that's what it asked for. So I'm going to say 4 times all this. So now I got 4 times -5, 4 times 6, 4 times 4, 4 times -2, 4 times 0, 4 times -6. So now I have -20, 24, 16, -8, 0, -24. All right. So now that I know all the parts, I'm going to put it together. Okay, so what do I mean put them together? I'm going to take my 3BA plus my 4AC. So 3BA gave me 12, -9, 15, 12, -9, -9. And I'm going to add that to my 4AC, which is -20, 24, 16, -8, 0, -24. So this gives me 12 minus 20, -9 plus 24, 15 plus 16, 12 minus 8, 0, excuse me, -9 plus 0, -9 minus 24, because You could have wrote it like this if you wanted to. All right, so now I got 12 minus 20 gives me -8. -9 plus 24 gives me 15. 15 plus 16 gives me 31. 12 minus 8 gives me 4. -9 minus 0 or plus 0 is -9. And -9 minus 24 is -33. And that's my answer. All right, let's move on to our last one. Our last one says a company with 2 different plants manufactured guitars and banjos. Its production costs for each instrument are given in this following matrices. So now we're going to solve for A plus B, and then we're going to take half of it. Because remember, order of operations is you always clean up the parentheses first. So A plus B. So I'm going to take my A plus B, my A, 65 plus my B, my A plus my B, my A plus my B, my A plus my B. All right, so now when I add those together, I get 152, 114, 253, 286. And now the last step is I'm going to take a half of every bit of this. I'm just rewriting it one more time. You do not have to do that. So we're going to have half of 152, half of 114, half of 253, half of 286. And this gives me 76, 57, 126.5, 143. Now these are all in dollar bills, because it's talking about money. So make sure and watch what it says on rounding. If it wants you to put the decimal in zeros, if they want you to put the dollar signs on their answers, that's their answer.